If you're still saving up for the POCO F4, you probably should get it before it's too late because it just might be the last of its kind. After spending more than 100 days with this phone, I realized a couple of things. One, we may never see a POCO F4 once again, just like how we never saw another POCO F1. And two, the presumed POCO F5 successor is rumored to sport a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip. That would put the price way above the F4 if it ever launches. With less than 2 months to go until we bid goodbye to 2022, you're probably thinking of getting a POCO F4 for yourself. Well, I'll let you know as early as now. Unless you're looking forward to better performance for a price, you probably should get one now before stocks run out. Because the F4 is one heck of a phone when it comes to the overall features you get. It's a well-balanced device, whether it's battery, performance, or cameras we're talking about. It may not be the same best bang for the buck phone as the F3 of last year, but it's still a great overall phone. On paper, the F4 looks like a modest device with its 64 megapixel main camera, 67-watt wired charger, and 120Hz AMOLED display. You will easily find at least this kind of setup or better when you shop for other brands. However, there's one key feature where the F4 shines, and that's the chipset. The Snapdragon 870 may be old, but it's definitely still gold. Just make sure you get the model with 8GB RAM. The one with 6GB RAM holds the chip performance back. I've seen this with the POCO F3 and I was surprised to see occurring stutters. You also have to take into consideration the RAM that's going to be used by future major software updates. With more features arriving on this phone in the next couple of years, expect the available RAM to use for apps and services to decrease significantly. Gaming? No problem here. It may no longer be the best chip for gaming at this price point, especially for those looking to squeeze out every frame in a game, but it's still an excellent performer whether it's a 5x5 mobile game or a AAA title like Genshin Impact. Where the Snapdragon 870 falls short of the competition is heat management, at least for this particular device. It's definitely not a cool performer like the POCO X4 GT gaming counterpart, but it's not like hot to the touch or anything. It gets very warm only. But if it's just for general use, the F4 is a smooth performer. The 4500 mAh battery is not made for power users, but getting 5 to 6 hours of screen time is plenty for video watchers. The only times the screen time dips are when listening to music on standby and when using the video camera almost all the time. For the not so active users, the F4 is a solid 18-hour battery phone. For the others, it's a 12-hour type of device or a full day. Though I have to say, coming from battery champs like the POCO X4 GT giving me 6 to 7 hours of screen time, the F4 feels like it has above average battery life. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just something worth pointing out for some of you coming from phones with incredibly long battery life. The 67-watt charger doesn't boast the same 0 to 100% in just 20 minutes like the 120-watt chargers out there. But if your phone still requires at least an hour or two to fully recharge, the 67-watt charger is a breath of fresh air, taking only 45 minutes. But if you really want that 120-watt charger, especially since 165 watts is going to be available next year, then you might be better off waiting for that. So far, the MIUI software here, or rather POCO, is still dependable. No crashes, bugs, errors, or whatsoever for the past several months. Outside the additional confirmation steps and ads, I love MIUI for POCO here. The only thing I wish it gets is Material U theming because the look of the skin is looking outdated already, even with a built-in theme engine. If you have seen my POCO X4 GT 100-day review, I said that it's the best value mid-range phone of 2022. It took the reins of the POCO F3. However, that doesn't make it the best overall mid-range phone. That title belongs to the POCO F4, and the reason for that is that the camera processing of Qualcomm. Even without a 108 megapixel sensor, the 64 megapixel main camera and the 8 megapixel ultra-wide shoot better photos and videos than most mid-range devices out there, with the exception of some Samsung phones. It's also the cheapest POCO device with optical image stabilization that works up to 4K at 60 frames. Thanks to the image software processing of Snapdragon 870, it easily beats the competition that is hardware heavy in spec sheets. But since this is still a mid-range phone, expect both photos and videos indoors and in challenging scenarios to be soft and smudgy. Unless Qualcomm or Xiaomi hits a major breakthrough in software or hardware, you still need to live with these common mid-range setbacks. Comments are so hard. At this point, we have touched just about the most important things long term. As a daily phone, the POCO F4 is easy to recommend to anyone looking for a long lasting device. The other thing I want to talk about is whether you should wait for the presumed POCO F5. As early as now, we are hearing rumors that the F5 would finally jump to a flagship tier chipset. If we're to speculate how much the successor would cost, just take a look at the Realme GT2 Pro, which is the most affordable phone with a similar chipset. While we expect POCO to undercut the price once again, there's a good chance we may see the price shoot between 25,000 and 30,000 pesos. If POCO could go between 20 and 25,000, I think that would make the POCO F5 worth waiting. But for now, that's been it. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.